A West Alabama police officer is on administrative leave and under investigation after tasing a handcuffed black man. The reformed police officer, identified as Dana Elmore, was caught on video cursing and tasing Micah Washington in the back. The incident happened in Pickens County, about 40 miles west of Tuscaloosa, on December 2nd. There are reports that Washington was changing a flat tire when Elmore approached him. Others say the incident began with a traffic stop. Folks, watch this.
Stand up. Right there on the front of the car. Stay straight.
I ain't doing shit, bro. I got gun right there. I'm not doing that.
Oh, yeah.
I'm saying, what you saying? Oh, yeah, fuck. I'm not. Oh, my God.
Fuck up.
Okay. I'm down. Oh, my fuck. Oh, my God.
You want it again?
No, man.
Shut the fuck up. You was big and bad. Shut your bitch ass up.
Gentleman from the Pickens County, Alabama NAACP chapter is President William Petty and the first Vice Chair, Faye Jones. I'm trying to also, folks, understand, reach out to the mayor but got no response. However, Reform Alabama Police Chief Richard Black and Mayor Melody Davis provided this joint statement a couple of days ago. The Reform Police Department is aware of a video circulating involving a citizen's arrest on December 2nd. The department is in the process of turning over all materials related to this arrest to the Alabama State Bureau of Investigation and has requested a thorough investigation into the circumstances surrounding the arrest in accordance with city policy. The officer involved has been placed on administrative leave while the investigation is conducted. Any questions regarding the investigation should be directed to the State Bureau of Investigation. All right, so that's their statement there. So let me ask you here, William, as well as Faith. So as I watched the video, the man says he has a gun. She goes, oh, there we go. She puts it on the car and then begins to tase him. He was under control. He wasn't resisting arrest. There really was no need to tase this man.
That's correct. From our observation, there was no need. He was subdued in handcuffs.
Have y'all had any conversations with the mayor or the police department regarding this?
Yes, sir. I've met with the mayor, the magistrate, and the chief of police, and they gave me the data they say they had. And they also shared that she was placed on administrative leave, Miss Dana.
This is, I mean, again, so the officers on leave. Are you aware of any other issues with police in the town? There
have been earlier incidents. Are you talking about with this officer?
No, not necessarily with this officer, but other issues in the police department.
Yes, sir.
Football player.
We had incident with Mr. Brody that started in reform, and also the incident with the professional football player.
Both of them are dead now.
And they expired after their arrest.
So you've had obviously issues there.
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, look, we're going to be certainly watching this story, see what happens with this Alabama Bureau of Investigation. So certainly keep us abreast of what's next.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right. Thanks a bunch. Nicole, I'll start with you. Again, here's a perfect example. Man's under arrest, handcuffed, leaning over a car, not resisting. The officer can't resist herself of tasing him.
I don't think people always understand how traumatizing an arrest can be. I mean, that man may live for the rest of his life with the trauma of the violence he experienced at the hands of that officer, and it's absolutely unacceptable the way she violently used that taser, the way she spoke to him, dehumanizing him when he was crying. And, we don't know what led up to that, but if he was simply trying to deal with his car and she viewing a black man wanting to control him, I mean, this is the history of policing throughout this country, particularly in the South, particularly in states like Alabama, with too high rates of arrest, too high rates of incarceration. It's absolutely outrageous and just so heartbreaking to see his response in the midst of that arrest when he was being violently assaulted by this police officer. Absolutely unacceptable.
What you have here, Julian, look, you got officers, a lot of them who just believe they can, do whatever they want when they pull it out, but they even have to have responsibility using a taser.
I can't imagine what it feels like to be tased, but you heard that man's cries of anguish as he was tased. That woman doesn't need to be on administrative leave. She needs to be off the police force. But this, Roland, is, what I've been writing about and talking about is the lynching culture. We don't lynch people anymore, but the lynching culture suggests that you could do anything you want to a black person, and there will be no consequences. That's basically passed down from enslavement to actual lynching to a knee on the neck, and we go on. There was no need, as Nicole has said, there was no need whatsoever. This man was fairly docile. She said, bend over on the car. He bent over on the car. He told her he had a gun. He was completely compliant. And all that was about was her ego. And one of the things that I, have to say when we see some of this is that, we think that diversifying police forces is going to make a big difference. But white women are the mothers, daughters, sisters, and wives of the white men who think they can do whatever they want to black people. And that woman's horrible behavior. I mean, she was hostile. She was aggressive. She used profanity. She does not belong in the police force. But more than that, those folks who say they're feminists, and I'm one, need to look askance at some of these white women who basically take on the roles and attitudes of the white men who oppress us.
But Niambi, you also have black cops who operate the same way. We know, of course, with Tyree Nichols in Memphis, and this is what happens when it comes to the blue. They got their badge and a gun, and again, we expect officers to also act in accordance with department policy.
Well, unfortunately, though, department policy seems to be violence against black people. And I think this is what my colleagues are talking about. It's not necessarily a race question, although we've seen some examples of good officers, good black officers like Officer Crutchfield. But when people feel that they can do things with impunity, the disrespect and disregard of black humanity, it becomes a lot easier to beat people, to abuse people, to verbally abuse people, to tase people. And so, on the one hand, people might say, oh, this is non-lethal. And this officer, quite frankly, looked like she derived a good deal of pleasure from inflicting pain on this man who was doing nothing other than complying with every request that she had, including telling her about a weapon and all of these things. I mean, there is nothing that we can do. There's no policy that would fix that. But what we can do is make sure we do not just a better job of screening officers and potential officers, but also rooting those people out where they exist. And this is the officer that needs to be the kind of example of what you don't do. This is the kind of officer that deserves to be put on administrative leave. This is the kind of officer that needs to be relieved of their duties, because God knows what would have happened if there was even the slightest hint of resistance from this man or any other citizen she comes into contact with. And I think that's the larger sort of issue here, is that we are not treated like citizens. We are not given the benefit of the doubt. There is no sense that you need to respect black people or black life. And I think that's the part that makes these kinds of really innocuous kinds of interactions scary. Because whether we're talking about California, we're talking about Alabama, you have people here who are more than willing to violate us, our humanity, and our rights, all in the name of this badge. And there doesn't seem to be a lot that is going to be done to remove these officers from employment, because we see time and again that when officers are even disciplined, they often go to other jurisdictions. So it's not a deterrent. And that is something that is really wrong with the culture.